Hi, everybody, and welcome to Spa Babies, presented by Spendthrift. I'm Dan Illman, along with Nicole Russo, and let's kick off the Friday card at Saratoga, as well as the 50-cent early pick 5, with race number 1, our Spa Baby race of the day. It is a $50,000 maiden claimer, 5.5 furlongs for 2-year-old fillies, the number 2, Stylish Rags, the number 6, Passion. Well, they're trained by Wesley Ward and Todd Pletcher, respectively. And Nicole, you have to respect anything that the Ward and Pletcher barns send out as it pertains to 2-year-old first-time starters.
Absolutely, very much so. Wesley Ward with that Barnes reputation for good 2-year-olds, Todd Pletcher with the same reputation, especially at Saratoga. That being said, I do think this is an interesting race where you could go in a number of different directions.
And one of those different directions might be down towards the inside. The number 1 is Do You Know Who I Am? And Do You Know Who I Am only sold for $4,000 in March after breezing a furlong in 10-1. She is a New York bred by Verrazano, and she has some things working against her. She breaks down towards the inside post. It can be an intimidating spot for a first-time starter. As you also see, she has a lot of stamina in her pedigree. Perhaps 5.5 furlongs is a bit sharp, but I respect anything Linda Rice sends out, and I like that there's a 5 furlong workout on the tab.
Very much so. Should have some foundation under her with that 5 furlong workout. Linda Rice having a terrific meet. She has a great record with her turf sprinters. And Do You Know Who I Am is by Verrazano over a City Zip mare. Both of those were kind of multi-surface threats who have done the same in their stud careers. Assuming this one isn't claimed away from Rice, I'd actually like to circle her and see if she shows up on turf later in the meet.
Number 2 is Stylish Rags. This is a daughter of Union Rags going out for Wesley Ward with a long and strong work tab. This horse has been working steadily since late April for Wesley Ward. Jose Ortiz takes the mount, and there is some sprint in this pedigree. The dam's a half-sister to Sacristia on the old hat at Gulfstream, as well as a half to a Group 1 stakes-winning turf sprinter in Japan. So I expect Stylish Rags to take a good amount of money in this race, and I wouldn't be surprised if she runs very well.
Very much so. I do wonder why she's debuting for the tag with, this nice page on her and what looks like a very solid work tab. Her sire Union Rags is one of those stallions we talk about where he was so good at 3, becoming a Belmont Stakes winner, that we almost forget how good he was at 2, winning the Saratoga Special, winning the Champagne around one turn. And he's followed up by being a sire of good 2-year-olds like Dancing Rags, Free Drop Billy, and others.
You mentioned Linda Rice having a sensational meet. How about Michael Maker? He's just been on fire, and he has the number 3 Spring Break. This is a $15,000 weanling that was a $38,000 buyback as a yearling. The dam is a half-sister to Mayo on the side, who I believe upset Azeri in the Grade 1 Humana Distaff back in 04. Yeah. And Mayo on the side, I think, is the dam of Midcourt, who just made Maximum Security sweat in the San Diego. So a very classy family for the Maker barn. And this one's by Outwork, who just had his first debut winner.
Yeah, Outwork, he's off the mark. He's one of those I keep saying I expect him to follow in the mold of his sire, Uncle Mo, siring good 2-year-olds, siring athletes. Outwork himself was a 2-year-old debut winner at 4.5 furlongs. And you mentioned Mayo on the side. And yeah, that's what I was going to say. All she beat was Azeri, and she's turned out to be a pretty nice producer in her own right. This is an active family for a barn that's also doing very well right now.
The number 4, Dash to the Top, I think is an interesting new face for trainer Wayne Catalano. There are lots of things to like, and there are some things that you may not like, which means let price be your guide. Violence is just a precocious stallion of 2-year-old sprint ability. They're good with just about anything, but boy, 20% winners with 2-year-old first-time starters. There's a lot of quality in this family. The second dam was a Grade 1 stakes winner. It's just that Catalano doesn't win very often with first-time starters, or at least not recently. I like that there are 3 5 furlong works on the tab.
That's correct. And I can't help but wonder, with all those longer works, if this shorter race, as you mentioned, is just a spot to tighten this one up for another effort down the line. There's a lot of stamina in the female family. I like Violence on top, maybe to sharpen that up. As you mentioned, he's a very good 2-year-old sire. He's also a very good sprint sire who's on fire lately with the likes of Volatile.
Number 5 is Our Bella Nicole, and this is the filly with the prior racing experience. She made her debut at Delaware Park, and she didn't run very well that day, but she took a hint of money, which is always a nice sign, and the runner-up did come back to win at odds-on at Delaware in a maiden special weight with a 67 Beyer speed figure. She was also saddled with the inside post down at Delaware, and maybe you shouldn't care for that as well. Blinkers on, we see a recent bullet workout, and I'm assuming that bullet workout came with the blinkers.
Yeah, and once again, I'll definitely encourage our viewers to check out the Clocker reports produced by our colleague Mike Welsh and others for more detail on the recent works for these horses. This one, I do think there's quite a bit to like. She's coming from maiden special weight to maiden claiming company, which is frequently a productive angle. There were some well-bred horses in her maiden at Delaware, a track with a sneaky good 2-year-old program. As you mentioned, at least one from that race has come back to win. She's adding the blinkers. She's by Honor Code, whose runners have been far better at 3, of course, than they were last year at 2. They've also gotten better with experience, so I certainly think she could take a step forward.
The number 6 is Passion. This is the Todd Pletcher trained first-time starter, a New York bred by Mission Impassable, who is a good 2-year-old stallion. The Dam was a juvenile debut winner. There's a lot of turf on the bottom of this family, but I think Mission Impassable is going to give enough dirt and perhaps precocity to even it out nicely.
Absolutely. I think Mission Impassable, a Son of Unbridled song, definitely adds the dirt, adds the juvenile ability, adds the sharpness. He's become one of New York's perennial leading sires, with his young runners really leading the way. Starting in 2016 when he was the state's leading freshman. Last year, he was the 5th leading sire in the state overall. And his runners, mostly New York breds, can compete against open company. He's got graded Adirondack winner Pure Silver and others.
And while we don't think of Todd Pletcher with claiming horses, here's his record at Saratoga over the past year with 2-year-old debut runners in maiden claiming dirt sprints. He went 2 for 6 last year with a $4.21 return on investment. He knows how to read a condition book. He knows his horse's condition and where they fit. The number 7 in here is Crubera. She completes the field. She is by the Factor, and there's a lot of turf and stamina in this pedigree. Maybe this filly will want a little bit more ground, a half to Vagabond Princess, who was stakes placed on the turf going long. The Second Dam was a multiple grade 3 stakes winner routing. I believe she won on dirt and turf. The Factor is solid with first-time starters, but he's a good hidden turf sire as well. Gary Gullo historically, maybe not recently, does well at Saratoga with first-time starters. I've been chasing him all meet to no avail, but maybe Crubera at a price can get a piece at the very least.
Oh, perhaps. And I do think the Factor by Warfront, he's like his sire. He can work on either dirt or turf. He can work short or long, certainly good with his juveniles. I think you hit the nail on the head about him being, a bit of a hidden turf sire.
And again, take a look at that Clocker report that DRF and Mike Welsh and his colleagues produced, because just looking at the workouts without checking out the workout report, Gary Gullo worked Miss Pepina, a nice little older horse, along perhaps with Crubera. They match up from a time standpoint on July the 26th. Miss Pepina is an okay horse capable of running an 80 Beyer on the dirt. Let's take a look at our top selections for the Spa Baby race to kick off the Friday card. You're going with Passion. It's Todd Pletcher. I certainly get it.
Yeah, I do think there are a number of routes you could take in this race, but I am going to go with that New York bred Passion by Mission Impassable for Todd Pletcher and Arad Ortiz, who can be a potent combination. I did give a look to your top pick, Crubera, to kind of try to get a price horse in there, as well as the well-bred Wesley Ward debut starter and stylish rags and the experienced Arbella Nicole, who's dropping in class and adding blinkers, perhaps to get some pieces of the action as well.
I'm curious to see what we get from Crubera. I think she's well spotted in this maiden claiming race. I am concerned that she may want a bit more ground, but I do know I'm going to get the right price. And I should get a good price on Dash to the Top as well, simply because Wayne Catalano, a very, very good trainer, just doesn't have great statistics recently with first-time starters. I respect Violence as a 2-year-old debut stallion. I think Dash to the Top might offer a little value as well. Nicole's going 6-7-2-5. I'm going 7-4-1-6 in Friday's Spa Baby race, and our coverage is presented by Spendthrift.